Join us for a review of the Toyota Supra today as the new entry-level version. Let's go! Here in the front, the Toyota Supra, you see this very round shape that's different to the BMW Z4. The Z4, of course, the convertible version. Toyota here, the coupe version. There's this collaboration. They develop it together, and then everything is set, different emphasis. But it's becoming quite clear that BMW had a bigger share in the whole building and development process. We'll see more about that later. 4.38 meters, 14'4", or 172 inches is the length. It's about 6 centimeters or 2 inches longer than the BMW Z4, but same wheelbase, just a little bit different overhang because the spoilers are somewhat different. Interesting is here that the 4-cylinder Toyota Supra comes with 18-inch wheels. We see these here at the moment, and the 6-cylinder comes with 19-inch wheels, and this is of course better here for the riding comfort. The visual part, of course, is then more attractive with the 6-cylinder, but really interesting to see how that plays out with driving. A beautiful integrated spoiler design here, very sculptural indeed, and very slim tail lamps, and this massive diffuser style in the lower part. The exhaust pipes look still quite impressive, although this is the 4-cylinder, but of course, yes, sound-wise there is a big difference to the 6-cylinder. You open the trunk from the inside of the driver door or with pressing the key fob. And here we go. Of course, where the Supra has a little bit more flexibility than the Z4 Roadster. It's actually quite well usable. Of course, it's very high loading still for that. Yeah, but I mean, I think you can get along with 2 people or something. You can also remove this top cover here, and secret is this. First push it up right here and then pull like this, and then we can remove it, and you can do even a little bit more with that. So what do we have here under the hood today? A 2-liter 4-cylinder with 258 horsepower. 5.2 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. And the alternative would be the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder with 340 horsepower. It's then 4.3 seconds in the acceleration figure, so about a second faster. And the key, well, this is the BMW key and this is the Toyota key. There you see it. It's the same, and also shows the origin that it's more BMW than Toyota. A little bit, one more hint. Getting inside, typical sports car alike, but still somewhat comfortable for a sports car. However, I feel that the seats in the Z4 are a little bit more comfortable on, on longer journeys. But again, for a sports car that looks so dramatic and it's not really big, I didn't find it that uncomfortable actually. So I'm 1.86 or 6'1", I have a seat in lowest position, I have to. Still some head clearance, so that does also work for taller people. The steering wheel is indeed different here, Toyota Supra and BMW Z4. This one looks a little more like, say, blend or old school alike, up and down, back and forth. Is also a BMW steering wheel, people will see that. The Z4 then comes with a sportier, more modern design, so to say. Interior overview right here. Everything is straightforward and kept simple. Horizontal design, soft touch here at the top dashboard, also at the lower one. There are these hotkeys that you can individualize. Still a manual volume knob, yes, we like that. And also a manual AC unit. That's pretty cool, especially while driving. Seat heating also, separate knob. It's so easy to control this car. That's actually very cool. Instruments again, no unnecessary BS. You can also turn it on, yay, and that comes to life then. Left side fuel status, then the big RPMs, that's all you need. And of course the central speed, then on the left side, and sorry, in the center then which gears are put in and so on. Infotainment system, different app views here, we could call it, so to say. The car internal GPS is also by BMW, and it's actually quite simple and nice one, also leads your way very nicely. You can decide if you want to have a split screen or not. Usually I would think it's better without a split screen, I think. Welcome to Thomas's active driving lounge here. Let's see. Well, that is exactly 100 kilometers. Wow, that that was exactly the right amount we needed right here to get this thing going. And if someone had a doubt about if the 4-cylinder is enough, I think this acceleration shows, well, power-wise, it is actually enough. Yes, we don't have so much sound, but a little bit less weight on the front axle that makes the car really, you know, a little bit more balanced, a little bit more neutral in this whole feeling. So it's actually pretty cool. Also good noise insulation here at higher speeds, so can't complain about that. And we have a nice little track here just for us. The sound is quite decent. Yes, the 6-cylinder sounds better, but still decent, I would say. Very good neutral handling here also with the steering. So very good feeling when I'm going in some slalom here. Look how direct the commands are. Really cool. There's no dead zone area from the steering, and a very, very good feeling in the steering wheel. Again, this Toyota then profits from the BMW experience as for the natural steering feeling. Really well done. And the Supra itself, if you compare it to the Z4, the Supra is a sportier, more aggressive. The stability control is more drawn back, so to say. So let me tell you more about the differences there. When I'm in the normal traction mode, you know, and have the sports mode deactivated, everything is rather silent. You can drive that, you know, rather on the road and so on, but it's still sporty. Throttle input not as crisp. Then put in the sports mode, then the gears are turned up higher. More for the racier approach. That was already 170 kilometers an hour. Now here hard in the corner. Car is kept relatively stable. The thing is, difference to the 6-cylinder, because two effects. First of all, here the front is a little bit lighter, so it is not like a, you know, like a hook to the ground. And we have less power at the rear wheels. This is of course rear wheel driven only. And so the handling of the 4-cylinder is more, let's say, neutral, a little bit more forgiving, whereas the 6-cylinder is more aggressive. So if you're not a used, like practiced driver, the 4-cylinder will be better for you. The 6-cylinder then, if you want it more aggressive and you want to really play around with the rear of the car, for example, then the 6-cylinder will actually be better for you. If you have the money for that, or if you want to spend the money for that. But here, wow, that's pretty good performance from the 4-cylinder. 180 kilometers an hour almost, hard on the brakes, really good performance from the brakes. And now to the street driving lounge. So we don't have to accelerate anything here because we already had it on the racetrack. And now it's about some of the comfort features. I already told you that for a small sports car, both Supra and Z4 are actually relatively comfortable. I'm a little bit more happy with the seats, with the seat form in the Z4. And of course, when you stick with the Alcantara or fabric microfiber surface, it's also softer in seating. The slick surface is always a little bit harder, so that doesn't adapt too much to the body. Also, the Supra seats are smaller, slimmer, so if you're taller, the Z4 seats will also be better. Critical is here also suspension choice and wheel choices, because a base Supra can also be bought with a normal suspension, same with the Z4, and you can also optionally get an adaptive suspension. We have that inbuilt here as an option in this vehicle. The adaptive suspension you can, by the way, also get without this premium package with the other features and stuff. And adaptive suspension does make sense. It delivers you more comfort and also the choice to be in normal mode or sports mode here. We also have this sound actuator on the interior. So we felt that on the exterior it didn't make too much of a difference from the exhaust note, but on the interior it makes more difference sound-wise. Here in the sports mode, and also the suspension is being stiffened up, so that delivers you a more sportier experience. But usually then when you want to drive more relaxing also, then you would leave it out. And the suspension is really surprisingly comfortable for a sports car. It's, this one again comes from BMW, whereas Toyota did their own setups, but especially as for the stability controls. So the stability control systems with Toyota are a little bit more loose here in the Supra than in the BMW. But this adaptive suspension does a really great job. You don't get any like bumps through to your lower back or so. So it's really amazing. And again, what a great neutral handling, and you can have fun in your everyday driving life. Fuel economy at best could be something, close like, 8 something liters, 7 to 8 liters minimum. That's about in the 30 mpg regions or 40 mpg regions UK, a little bit less than 40 mpg UK. That's at best motorway cruise control. The more you punish the car, the more you challenge the car, the more it will change, of course. But still, the engines are not too bad in the fuel economy. And the interesting thing is, 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, crucial is that you just pay 10k less. That's really crucial, especially if your budget is tight. But as for the fuel economy, it doesn't make too much of a difference, because the 4-cylinder, you turn it up higher in the RPMs, and this BMW 3-liter inline 6-cylinder is a very efficient, bigger engine. So it's not necessarily more fuel consuming than the higher tuned 4-cylinder engine. That's also a very interesting aspect. And now to our conclusion for today with the Toyota GR Supra as a 4-cylinder, this new entry-level version. Well, first of all, exterior styling. It looks very aggressive, but has a lot of round shapes definitely. And the interior build quality is really very good. It's of course a special Toyota, because especially on the interior you see so much with BMW actually. And if you have smaller screens than in the Z4, well, I think you can definitely live with that. I think the seats in the Z4 are a little bit more comfortable. That would be a big advantage. Then again, the base seats here offer the better fabric microfiber surface here. And I think this also really works when you go for this vehicle in a base trim. Just leave it as it is. Maybe pick 1 or 2 options if you can. And then also makes sense price performance wise, for example. And the 4-cylinder also makes sense. You can have as much fun as possible also with the 4-cylinder. It has really enough power. We've shown it on the racetrack. The handling is even a little bit more neutral, so to say. A little bit lighter front axle, not so much power on the rear. That balances out the car a little bit better, especially if that's maybe your first sports car or something. That's more clever then. The 6-cylinder would be then, if you don't care about the 10k extra price, if you really want this more boosting sound, if you want more power, and you either want the possibility to have it more extreme with the rear going out, or say, I like this sonorous feeling of the, higher displacement, more cylinders, and I tend to drive it in a calm way as well, and don't want to push the RPMs so much as we do here in this more high revving 4-cylinder. This could be the arguments actually. Z4 or Supra, of course, it's more about soft top or hard top. The Supra from the ESC settings is a little bit more loose, so a little bit more aggressive overall. And what I also found quite cool is driving with the 18-inch wheels here today. Together with the adaptive suspension, this is actually the most comfortable setup you can find. So, a lot of different interesting aspects here today. Please tune into the other episodes. We've linked in the video description and in the pinned comment. Leave us your comments here, Supra or Z4, here the 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder. Which one would you go for? Tell us and see you next time.